remember when we talked about the autonomic nervous system, this is the system that is monitoring lots of information internally, and we're getting adjustment to our homeostasis, stuff like our blood pressure, pH, that sort of thing. So you happen to remember the two divisions of the autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. Sympathetic, also known as fight or flight. Parasympathetic, try to calm it down. So if we look at this picture right here, one of the things that it's showing you those chain ganglia, which are outside of the central nervous system, and then the green and the red are representing what we refer to as our pre-ganglionic fiber and our post. And a ganglion is an area of what? Nerve cell bodies. And then, based upon what we're looking at right here, it's letting you have an idea of the areas of the body that are served by this division. Okay? Autonomic nervous system, the two divisions, sympathetic, parasympathetic, and what they are innervating. So, that is where we left off, I think, on Thursday of last week.
Can I get a copy of that one? I got two of them.
You got two of those? Okay, so the sympathetic division, the division that is preparing you for fight or flight. Note, they do pay attention to those pre and post fibers. Now, one of the things that's present in this structure that we have what's called communicating rami. If you remember from part 1, rami is a projection. Therefore, we're going to have some projections for communication. The pre-ganglionic fibers, the ones that they're showing in green, are small and myelinated. Lost my term on that one. Small and myelinated. Myelin is present. Note where it's traveling from. The pre, once again, let me point out, we're in the sympathetic division. The preganglionic fiber is traveling from a spinal nerve. Now, if we think back to our anatomy, what part is a spinal nerve? The one that we see exiting between the vertebrae. What have I just told you?
Location. Location.
I told you way more information than just location. All right, well, can you think of anything else? point out the difference between the peripheral nervous system and my autonomic. The other thing that I've told you, we're traveling by way of a spinal nerve. The information has to make its way to a chain ganglia so that it can synapse with its host fiber, which then travels to the target organ. So based upon the picture this first picture, trying to let you know that the pre-fiber has to travel by way of the spinal nerve to the ganglion, which is an area of nerve cell bodies. And we're going to do that because I have my rami that I just mentioned are communicating. Rami being a projection, communicating meaning it's got to communicate with something. That preganglionic fiber travels by way of the one termed the white communicating. Brian?
I just want to so the spinal nerve transmits the signal to the ganglion, the chain ganglion, and then from there it hits the presynaptic neurons, or is the spinal nerve considered a presynaptic neuron?
Yeah, that's a good question because the spinal nerve is not the pre.
It's not considered the presynaptic, so it has to hit the chain ganglion, and then it hits the presynaptic neuron.
No, as it exits, it's the preganglion.
Preganglion, okay.
And then in the chain, it synapses and hits the host.
Oh, okay.
Now, hold on to that thought because that's gonna get really clear here in just a second. Okay? My post fiber leaves by way of the rami that we consider the gray because this fiber is unmyelinated. And then we're going to make our way to our target organ. This is what's happening. Now, I handed out a picture of this one so that you could have it in your hand to look at this. Has everybody got their copy? Now, what is it telling you? Let's take a peek at what it's trying to represent. If we look at this, all right, so we're in one of those cross sections of our spinal cord, looking down on it. Gray matter, white matter. I have my ventral and dorsal, anterior, posterior, however you want to list it, okay? You guys remember posterior, anterior, okay? Spinal nerve that had split and entered, and we get the response out, okay? Is everybody with me? And onto, because look how they're trying to show, I've got the spinal nerve that will leave and go and do whatever it needs to do. But I'm getting representation now for my autonomic nervous system with the green. One of the things that I've tried to mention a lot is that the lateral horn identify the lateral horn for me in that picture. Why?
Being comfortable. Let that kind of affect your work.
Well, when I look at this structure, tried to point out in the other chapters that those ventral horns are for my peripheral nervous system. Anterior is for peripheral. Anything on the lateral side is for my autonomic nervous system. So they're showing my nerve, basically the nerve cell bodies arising in this lateral horn. Is everybody with me? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Now, the exiting of the preganglionic fiber. Preganglionic tells me that's the fiber that has to go to the ganglion. Okay? So, if this is my nerve cell body, this is my axon, and my axon has to go to a ganglion to synapse. Is everybody with me so far? Now, autonomic nervous system is for monitoring the internal conditions of the body. So, let's take a peek at what happens for the routes of information. Let's just start with what, because they're showing me 4 fibers. So that's going to tell me how many different routes are available for transmission of information.
4.
Okay, you guys are going to get your test back in just a little bit. You're going to wish that you were just a little more interactive. I've got 4 fibers. That's telling me 4 routes. Okay? So, let's take one of them and let's simply follow the axon. Alright, I'm going to start up here with the very top one, where a nerve cell body. I'm going to trace that top fiber. And that top fiber continues. Note, it exits by way of the spinal nerve. But then it sharply turns. Now, this is representing chain ganglia. This portion right here is my communicating rami. I said rami is a projection. We got to work by way of communication. So these fibers make their way to the rami, and as they exit with the spinal nerve, they turn. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, if I'm following this first fiber, I'm moving by way of this white rami, and I'm making my way to the chain ganglion. It's showing that for this fiber, I'm going to travel, moving down, because the fibers can either go up